Hello everyone and welcome to this YouTube series where we're gonna be talking about how you can create a text-based game using Unity. So first of all, we're gonna be starting by creating a new project, and I'm gonna select 2D built-in because I don't actually need any 3D elements and because I don't actually care about the UI all that much. And I'm gonna give it a name and I'm gonna say text-based game. I'm going to disable connect to Unity Cloud because I don't need that option. And then I'm gonna create the project. Click on create and then we're gonna have to wait for Unity to load everything up. And now we can create our game. So first of all, I'm going to change this color because I don't really like that blue. I'm gonna make it just black. Then I'm going to need two things. I'm going to need a text and an input text field. So first of all, I'm going to right click in the hierarchy, UI, Text Mesh Pro, and then I'm going to import the TMP essentials. After that's done, I'm going to close this window and I'm going to center this text item by pressing the F key. Now I'm going to put it up here in the middle. I'm going in the inspector and select center and also center in the middle, and then let's go up here. I'm going to click on this square with the Alt and Shift keys down. I'm going to press, let's see, I'm going to press this one so the text will scale with our screen. Now I'm going to resize the whole text and I'm going to keep the Alt and Shift keys down, and I think I'm gonna make it about this big. Also, I'm going to resize the top side and the bottom side too. And I'm going to create another UI element, and this one is going to be an input field Text Mesh Pro. Now this one I want to be on the bottom side and I want it to be higher, actually taller and higher too. And I'm going to resize the left and right sides, and this one looks pretty good. Also, another thing that I really want to do is to change this text from here, enter text. Instead of enter text, I want this to have enter action. I'm going to rename that, or enter your action, and the text font is going to be, I'm going to select both of them, the placeholder and the text, and I'm going to say 18. I think that should be more than enough. I'm going to save my scene, and in the project I'm going to create one folder, and let's call this one scripts. I'm going to have only one script for this tutorial, but still I want to have that folder. So I'm going to create a C# script right now, and let's call this game manager, and let's open it. So this is our script, and I'm going to delete the comments because we don't need those. We already know what the start and the update function do, and we will start working on our game. First of all, we will need an enum that will contain the states of our game. For that, we're going to say enum, and then let's call it game state. And then here we will have a few states. First of all, we will have the introduction. Then we'll have the, let's say, first puzzle. Then we will have the second puzzle, the third one, let's say the victory screen, and the last one is going to be defeat. Now we have our states. This game is going to be very small, and it is going to contain only 3 puzzles, the introduction and the 2 final states, which will be victory or defeat. Now I'm going to need 2 variables for the 2 UI elements, right? So I'm going to say serialize field, and I'm going to say private. Let's make this TMP underscore text, and in order to use this one we will actually need, let's call this one display text, and we will need to import this library. So I'm going here and I will write using a TM Pro, right? And now this one is working just fine. And I'm going to write another serialize field, private TMP text input text, and this one is going to be the input field that we have right here, where we will add our own text, or more like commands, right? I will need another variable, private, and this one is going to be game of type game state, game state called game state equals to, and I'm gonna set it by default as game state.introduction, and this one will be the current state of our game, right? And in the start method I'm going to say game state equals to, just because I want to be sure that our game will start correctly. I'm going to make it again game state equal to game state.introduction, and then I'm going to have to write a function that will update my UI, because right now if I will press play, nothing will happen, because also I don't have any text right now. So I'm going to make another function, and I'm gonna make it also private, void update UI text, or just UI. And in here I'm going to need one parameter, right? So I'm going to need a string, and let's say display text, and that's all I need for this function as parameters. And in here I'm going to say display text dot text equal to display text. I'm going to set the text value of my text display object, right, to the string that I've sent as a parameter for the update UI function. So I'm going to update my UI right now, and I'm going to say update UI, and then let's call this one welcome to the game, just to test things out. So now when I'm going to press play, my text should be on the screen, should be welcome to the game. Let's test that out. First of all, we didn't put our script on any game object, so we need to do that first. And second of all, we need to add that text in the display text variable, right? So let's do that. Let's right click in the hierarchy, create empty, and then let's call this one game object and game manager. And now we have the component game manager on our game object from our scene. Now let's link the text input, right? And actually let's rename this one as display text, right? And this one I'm gonna leave it like that without the TMP, just because I want it to be easier to remember. So we have the two variables here, display text in the display text variable and the input field in the input text. But there is a bit of a problem right now, because if we take a look at this one requires a TMP text. So the problem is that this one, it shouldn't be TMP underscore text, it should be TMP underscore input field. That was one mistake that I made, and now it works perfectly. And let's save the scene, and then again press play, and now welcome to the game is displayed on our screen. Perfect. The second thing that we need to do here is going to be to read the text that we enter from our keyboard, right? So in order to do that, we are going to first of all get back in our script, and then let's write another function, and let's call this one, also make it private and void, and then let's say on submit, and also let's give it a string and some input text. Now, just for testing purposes, right now I'm going to write here a debug.log, and then let's make it input and then display the input text, right? Save the script, back in Unity, I'm going to press play, and then if I will enter some things here and then I'll press enter, nothing will happen. Why? Because we didn't link our function to pretty much anything. So in order to do that, we will have to make a condition. What would that condition be? Well, in my case, I want the submission to be made when I will press the enter time. Well, in my case, I want my action to be submitted when I will press the enter key. So let's do that. Now, in order to do that, I will have to come here in the update function, and then let's check for that key, right? I'm going to say if input.get key down, and then I'm going to say the enter key, right, which is actually key code dot return, because that's actually how it is called, right, return. Or let's actually use the enter key from the keypad, right, and let's actually use input dot get key down, key code dot keypad enter. Let's use the square brackets. Now in here I'm actually going to say on submit, and then I will send to this function as a input text, I'm going to send the parameter from the input field. So I'm going to say input actually is going to be input text dot text. Now that should work, and there is another thing that I want to do, but I'm gonna do that after we test this.